Jack Ma, born in 1964 in Hangzhou, entered middle school in the late 1970s, at a time when China was still recovering from the Cultural Revolution and the education system was trying to rebuild itself. When Jack Ma completed his primary education around the age of 12, he moved on to middle school at approximately age 12 to 13, which places the beginning of his middle school years around 1976–1977. These were the years when China was opening up, new ideas were entering society, and young students like Jack were beginning to experience a different kind of learning environment. Jack Ma was not an academically strong student. In fact, middle school became one of the toughest phases of his educational life. His math was weak, science was confusing to him, and even though he tried hard, he often scored below average marks. But in the middle of all these struggles, Jack discovered something special inside him, his unstoppable curiosity and his passion for learning English. During his middle school years, Jack Ma realized that he was not like other students who naturally performed well in exams. He used to fail many tests, and sometimes even teachers wondered whether he would be able to do anything meaningful in the future. But Jack was not the kind of boy who gave up easily. He had a different spark. He wanted to understand the world beyond his textbooks. At that time, Hangzhou had started becoming a small tourist spot, and foreign visitors were beginning to arrive in China. Jack became fascinated with them. While other students spent their time only preparing for exams, Jack would spend his mornings riding his bicycle to hotels where foreign tourists stayed. He wanted to talk to them, learn from them, hear their stories, and practice English with them. This habit started when he was in middle school, and soon it became a daily routine that shaped his identity and future. Jack's middle school teachers often complained about his weak academic performance, but they also noticed something unusual. Jack asked questions no one else asked. When a teacher explained a lesson, Jack didn't just memorize it, he tried to understand why it mattered. When he couldn't understand something, he kept asking until it made sense. He wasn't afraid of appearing slow or weak. He believed that real learning comes from curiosity, not from fear. This mindset, which began developing in middle school, would later help him build Alibaba, one of the biggest companies in the world. Although Jack struggled in subjects like math, he excelled in communication. He loved storytelling, debates, and speaking activities. His confidence grew slowly, especially through English practice with foreigners. By the time he reached the final year of middle school, his English had improved so much that even his seniors admired him. Many foreigners became his friends, and one Australian family became very close to him. They gave him a nickname, Jack, because Ma Yun was hard for them to pronounce. This name, given during his middle school years, eventually became known worldwide. Jack Ma completed his middle school around 1979–1980, but these years were not easy. He failed multiple entrance exams for higher education. In fact, after his middle school years, when he tried to get into high school, he failed twice. But something important happened during these failures. Jack learned the value of patience, resilience, and self-belief. While other students felt embarrassed after failing, Jack treated every failure like a lesson. He used to say, "If you don't give up, you still have a chance. But if you give up, the game is over." This philosophy was born in his middle school years. Middle school also taught Jack the power of discipline. Every morning, he woke up early, got on his bicycle, and rode long distances just to practice English. He wasn't paid for it, and no teacher forced him to do it. He did it because he loved it. This self-driven learning style became the foundation of his future success. Jack later said, "My middle school years taught me that knowledge is not only in books. Knowledge is everywhere, on the street, in conversations, in curiosity, in trying new things." His unusual learning habits set him apart from ordinary students. Another major turning point in Jack's middle school life was the moment he realized that failure could not break him. He failed exams again and again, yet he kept trying. He watched his classmates perform better, move ahead, and achieve scores he could not imagine. But instead of comparing himself to others, he focused on improving himself a little bit every day. This mindset, built during middle school, would later help him face the countless rejections of his adult life. Rejected from jobs, rejected from universities, rejected by investors, yet he kept moving forward because he had practiced resilience since childhood. By the time Jack Ma completed middle school, he was not a top student academically, but he had something more valuable: confidence, communication skills, a strong network of foreign friends, a love for English, and the belief that hard work could achieve anything. After finishing middle school, His educational journey continued with many struggles, but the foundation for his future success had already been laid. He entered middle school as an ordinary boy with weak grades, but he left middle school with extraordinary dreams. These middle school years shaped Jack Ma into the person the world would later admire, a resilient leader, a visionary thinker, and the founder of Alibaba.